And in case you missed it, here's a level up review of Lost Planet 2.
Welcome to Season 2 of the highest-rated closed-circuit program on campus,
Level Up.
We play and review video games, so you don't have to. It's a dangerous profession. Only the boldest of the bold may apply.
Boldest.
This year's show will feature both highly anticipated titles to come, some classics of yesteryear. Heck, we may even cover that game you love, whichever generic Space Marine hunk of crap that was. Unless, of course, that favorite game is Turok. That series died with the N64.
Yeah, I don't think that was a good move, because I can already see the Turok fanboy hate mail.
I'd settle for any mail, honestly, dude.
Fair enough, fair enough. But it doesn't matter, because we are famous. We are internet famous, and I'm sure after this, I mean, the first episode of Season 2, our spam filters will be just filled to the very brim with ads for, like, Big Al's Comanche Axe Emporium.
I love Big Al's Comanche Axe Emporium.
Yeah, I thought you might. Today, we're going to have a look at Lost Planet 2.
Which doesn't feature anyone named Big Al, or in fact, any axes. Comanche or otherwise.
Which is a
Why are
damn
we
shame.
reviewing this game?
I don't know. Hey, it does feature design issues, a crazy story, and big old monsters.
I want a Comanche axe.
I don't blame you. So, this your first rodeo?
No, sir. I served with the first Nevik operation on the surface. I'm telling you, this place is a frozen hellhole.
Yeah, tell me about it. Blinding snow, Arctic temperatures. I've seen good men perish in the cold. This ain't no place to vacate.
What the hell?
The first Lost Planet may have been defined by a gimmick, but at least it was an interesting one. Basically, the extreme climate was your most deadly foe, forcing you to conserve your precious thermal energy in order to survive. Run out of thermal and you get an all-expenses-paid trip to hypothermic death.
Interesting idea, but it's a tough sell, especially when there's no friggin' snow around. Well, alright, there's a little bit of snow, you know, enough to make a snowman. Or two midget snowmen. Oh. That's right. Environments of Lost Planet 2 have received a revamp. You can now have a little bit of desert with your Arctic wasteland, and maybe a little jungle on the side.
According to the game's fiction, the sequel takes place on the same planet as the first games, albeit 10 years later. Now, I don't care what Greenpeace's paid scientific council tells you, you do not go from tundra to desert in 10 years. I doubt they're trying to sell a message, though, because their solution seems to be murdering the local populace to harvest their precious heat juice and use it as fuel in a no-holds-barred race for resources.
Are we supposed to take these guys seriously? Hoth turns into a hybrid of Endor and Tatooine in the same time that a boy grows into a man? An ice age gives way to lush jungles and oceans of burning sand on the same planet over 10 freaking years? This planet's climate is all f***ed up, and that's all there is to it.
But wait, it gets better. You see, the convenient partition of the world into meteorologically uniform regions has affected the game's factions in different ways, which is the gist of what passes for a plot around here. For much of the beginning of the game, you play as characters from the no longer aptly named faction, the Snow Pirates. This tribe consists of rebels rebelling against things, and despite having no power structure, still receive orders to blow things up. Their motivations are never explained beyond a healthy dislike for what remains of Nevik, the military construction crew that may or may not have caused the planet to melt. Meanwhile, ex-Nevik troops mount a coup against old Nevik soldiers and the scoundrels that call themselves New Nevik. New Nevik apparently wants to awaken the Overg Mama Alien, harvest its vast store of thermal energy, and presumably blast off into space, cackling as EDN-3 freezes over. Again. Solar energy tanks depleted. Emergency shutdown commencing.
Looks like we're gonna have to be huffing it, Jim. It's a long trek back, easily 50 miles, but together we can... Oh. I wish I had a tauntaun. Now let's try exploring this from the Acrid's point of view. The Acrid are a race of giant, lovable insectoid aliens whose only dream is to peacefully populate the planet of EDN-3. And, well, maybe eat a dude or two. Their bodies are almost entirely made up of orange icy hot gel, which was okay because they lived on an ice cube. One day, assholes from outer space come down with their spaceships and their machine guns, and in the first encounter with the Acrid, discovered that their orange blood made for excellent fuel. Deciding to ignore any other possible natural resources the planet may have been hiding, the humans embarked on a campaign of repression, murder, pillaging, and basically just all around being douchebags.
Look, this narrative is thinly contrived, incoherent horseshit, like any song by Breaking Benjamin.
I love Breaking Benjamin!
Shut up! Now, why are the snow pirates so protective of their godforsaken planet anyway? Because it's their home? It was a mistake to settle there. There's nothing of value, and it was still a hostile bitch even before parts of it went all steamy. And what does New Nevik even plan to do? Sell their illicitly gained stock of thermal energy to the highest bidder? Who the hell would buy it? Anyway, it doesn't matter, because you're just going to skip the cutscenes anyway. Be warned, they have completely random QuickTime events that carry little to no consequences for failure.
Brick walls! The game feels like it needed another month or two of development, because large portions of it seem unfinished. Little things add up over time and overshadow its moments of actual action junkie brilliance. Little things like the insanity that ensues if you ever fired upon by turrets. Their bullets take priority over everything, so your attempts to steer yourself away, grapple, or any sort of action to the contrary leads to failure. It's like the game engine is very busy dealing with your rapidly dwindling health bar and doesn't have any time to accept input from you. Let's not forget the clumsiness that seems to permeate the game's design. It's apparent in the menus, level objectives, and level design.
Okay, it might seem that we don't like this game.
We don't.
And while that's certainly true, it does have its moments. Notably, the later sections that let you pilot the best mech in the game for about 10 minutes, well, surprisingly, it's not nearly as clunky and unresponsive as the rest, and it makes you wonder why the development team even bothered with the rest of the game. Ooh, also, the boss Acrid are breathtakingly colossal, and a blast to take down with some buddies the first time.
It's really a shame because I was looking forward to killing some really big monsters with my friends in a stylish and satisfying fashion. This game ain't it, especially if you try to play split screen.
Oh my god.
Well, Brandon, that was the first episode of Season 2.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was.
Wow.
Yeah, how about that?
I think we may have left out a lot of important stuff about the game, like the controls, or maybe
No, we hate controls.
What it's like to play it.
No, I think we captured that pretty well.
I feel like we were so put off by how dumb it is that we just forgot to review like other things beyond the big things.
Isn't the big things what matter?
You're right. The big things is definitely what matters.
Welcome back, everyone.
Good to have you around.
That was homoerotically hilarious.
Well, that was scary.
Tune in next week for a brand new episode of Level Up. Now for a look at the week ahead. Let's head over to the LC Storm Center for the weather with Chief Forecaster Will Stafford.
Now from the LC Storm Center, here is Chief Forecaster Will Stafford.
All right, we'll begin with a look at the tropics. This is generally the area where we would see most, if not really all, of the development. This is a map that looks and compiles the data over the past 100 years and stages it in hurricane season mode. And as you can see, the two areas that the National Hurricane Center has classified as areas of possible development, and one area is Igor. It's a pretty strong tropical system right now. As of the time of taping, which is Sunday, Igor sits as a hurricane, but is expected to turn in the next few days and head out to sea with no big threat to land, and at least here on the mainland. Back closer to home, not a bad week. Temperatures slightly warmer than they were last week, but overall still comfortable. We are watching an area coming on shore on the Pacific Northwest that might give us some showers by the weekend, but until then, high and dry. The 7-day spells again, high and dry conditions with daytime high temperatures in the lower, possibly middle 80s. Next chance of rain again comes with that system off of the Pacific Northwest for next week. Remember, Eye on LC Weather is on Facebook and YouTube. Back to you, Mandy.
Thanks, Will. Now for this week's update on LC Sports with Sports Director Justin Pryputin.
What's going on, LC? Justin Pryputin here with your weekly update in the world of sports. Let's get things started with volleyball. The girls got their first win of the season Friday and couldn't be stopped after that. They defeated Johns Hopkins Friday afternoon in 3 sets, 25-21, 25-23, and 25-22, and came back that same night to beat Johnson Wales 25-15, 25-16, and 25-12. Saturday, the Lady Hornets beat Randolph College in 4 sets, 25-15, 17-25, 25-10, and 25-13. LC finished the tourney with a clean sweep against Mary Washington, 25-23, 25-19, and 25-23. Good job on the sweep of the tournament, ladies. Make sure to come out Wednesday to see them take off Randolph in the first ODAT game of the season. Let's continue with the dramatic game on the pitch. The first game of the Schellenberger Soccer Classic was that of our Lynchburg Hornets against Maryville College. The game was tied going into half until Maryville scored on a breakaway. With less than 4 minutes left in the game, LC received a free kick in which senior midfielder Hunter Smith shot it past Maryville goalkeeper to tie the game. Minutes into overtime, Hunter's brother Cam crossed a pass to Abonizo, drained into the net to win the game for the Hornets. Later that day, the women's soccer team took on the Seagulls of Salisbury and defeated them 2-1. The goal scored first, but Shelley Hoth answered back 6 minutes later to tie the game for Lynchburg. LC took the lead as Jessica Gonzalez blasted a goal from 35 yards out late in the first half. Other notable stories this week were the Saints of New Orleans held off Brett Favre and the Vikings in the opening game of the NFL season to win 14-9. Sunday kicked off all other games, with the most intriguing games being the Cowboys and Redskins Sunday night and the Ravens and Jets on Monday night. Finally, people in the college pick'em contest, I don't know what to say. More bad news for y'all. In a huge upset, the VT Hokies lost to the JMU Dukes at home with a score of 21-16. You need to step your game up, VT. That's it for me. I'm Justin Rapp-Houghton. Back to you, Manny.
Thanks, Justin. Finally, the producer of the 2 highest grossing movies of all time will be speaking here at LC later this month. John Landau will talk about business ethics in the film industry at 7 p.m. September 30th in the college's Memorial Ballroom. We will have additional details on next week's show. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Until next time, I'm Mandy. See you next week, LC.